an hour or two ago if we're converting for Australia. She did arrive by car. What we don't know is whether we'll be breaking out the blue or the pink balloons at the end of the day. We don't know a name, although the bookies have installed Alice as the favourite. What we can tell you, though, is that there is a lot of excitement, and also that Kate will be having the best of care. A 24-hour stay here at the Lindo Wing goes for around $7,000 Australian dollars. So as the updates come in on Royal Baby Watch here in London, you'll have them.
Seb's going to be kept busy, I think.
I think so.
That's all for our bulletin this evening. The Today Show will have the latest headlines from 5:30 tomorrow morning.
For now, though, from all of us here.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello, I'm Tracy Grimshaw. Welcome to A Current Affair. 12-year-old Drew isn't the first kid to run away from home after a fight, but he could be the first who made it all the way to Bali, hopping on a Jetstar flight after breezing through customs here and Indonesia. Reporter Brady Halls will join me in a moment, but first, how did he manage it, and could your child do it too?
It was great, because I wanted to go on an adventure.
Oh, you're not going to believe what this kid's been up to.
12 years age, escaped from Australia, and then the parent was a little bit worried.
Shocked, disgusted. There's no emotion to feel what we felt when we found that he left overseas.
That was a week you won't forget.
Hopefully not.
The 12-year-old boy who took himself across Australia and on to Bali. On his own, with not a parent in tow. And don't think it couldn't happen to you.
So a child can have an argument with their parents and leave the country.
He just doesn't like the word no, and that's what I got. A kid in Indonesia.
And no one stopped him at the border.
It's too easy. It's way too easy. There's a problem.
Yeah.
In our system.
Drew is terrific on a scooter at the skate park, but he's really good at being a travel agent. Now, we've decided not to identify him so he doesn't get hassled over what he now regrets. He's a good kid. Just ask Linda, his nan.
Oh, he's kind, he's generous, he's got a heart of gold, and no, there's no problem with him. He's just too intelligent for his own self at the moment.
But Drew's a runner. Packed his bags and left home at the age of 2, but was caught at the local park. This time, he upped it a notch.
Went to the airport and then Guru didn't let me on.
Why is that?
Because I didn't have a document from Mum or Dad.
Like most kids, he can do a world of stuff on that smartphone.
So after I got the money back from Garuda, I went to Qantas and then booked it, and then they needed a letter from Mum.
They need a letter as well.
Yeah.
Now, he'd been borrowing the family credit cards to do these transactions, but Garuda and Qantas wouldn't let him travel. His separated parents soon found out about the 2 previous attempts to go overseas and alerted the Australian Federal Police.
We screamed, we begged for help for weeks on end. And when the first attempt to Indonesia took place, we were told his passport was going to be flagged.
Now, Drew and Mum Emma, Dad Brett and his sister knew Bali well. They have annual holidays there. But Drew is never allowed to be away from his family's side in Bali. It's a fun place, but as we know, it can be dangerous too.
With guidance only. Otherwise, there's no rules. Absolutely no rules.
But for these parents, their worst nightmare was about to happen.
And then I looked up at Jetstar and they said it will work.
Third time lucky.
They didn't say it would work, it said I'm not an unaccompanied minor.
So what didn't work on Garuda, what didn't work on Qantas, worked for you on Jetstar?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Nan was told by the AFP.
No, this wouldn't happen. It was it just wouldn't happen. He wouldn't get past any of the airport personnel to get overseas.
But it happened.
They want it to go away and not be talked about, but it is going to be talked about now.
With a Jetstar flight confirmed, Drew threw a few things in a backpack and grabbed his precious scooter. Bali, here I come, catching a train to the airport for a flight that unfortunately was via Perth.
Sort of stuffed up because I got the deal cheap.
Not to worry, he still had his wits about him. Don't go to those check-in counters, they ask too many questions. So he self-served himself. And not an alarm bell went off.
Okay, so when you got on the plane in Sydney, and it's going down the runway, and it's taking off, you're heading across the Nullarbor, you're heading towards Perth. What was going through your mind?
I was like thinking, why am I doing this? But I still had adrenaline from being so angry at Mum, just to not care.
You see, all this was the result of an argument with Mum.
Ever been to Perth before?
No.
Didn't know much about the place?
No.
What'd you do?
Went upstairs to where, like, watched the planes take off.
Yep.
Trying to dodge the AFP in Perth.
Oh, you thought they might be onto you? Yeah.
He had to move to the international terminal in Perth, but again, no one asked any tricky questions of him.
And they just asked for my student ID and passport to prove that, like,
that you're over 12 years of age?
And I'm in a secondary school.
And no one questioned you along the way?
No.
Bali bound, the 12-year-old, all alone, passing his time in the window seat, taking these videos of the clouds. Just under 4 hours later, his flight touches down in Denpasar.
And then they just asked for my passport. And then they asked if I was with anyone. And I said, no, my mum's waiting outside because she lives in Bali. And I'm going to meet her outside. And he goes, stamp, okay.
And he was satisfied with that answer?
Yeah.
And out comes a young boy, all alone, in a foreign country. No luggage except for that backpack and a scooter folded inside.
By that stage, had you started to get a little worried? Where am I? I'm here by myself. And I'm 12.
I was a bit worried.
Yeah. What was going through your mind? What sort of worries were you having?
Like, what am I going to do?
He jumped a Gojek bike and headed for a hotel where the family had stayed before. The All Seasons. It was reminiscent of a Home Alone movie, although he didn't encounter a soon-to-be president.
Excuse me, where's the lobby?
Down the hall and to the left.
Just like Macaulay Culkin, Drew headed to reception and checked in.
And I said my sister was coming, and I was just checking in early because she was going out.
He was a sweet young kid, just like the one in Home Alone.
Reservation for McAllister?
A reservation for yourself?
Think about it. A kid going into a hotel, making a reservation? I don't think so.
And just like the movie, they let Drew in. He threw the bag in his room and hit the town, renting a motorbike.
You were actually driving the motorbike around. Please tell me you had a helmet.
Yeah,
you did.
They gave one to me.
Okay. 12 years old, and they gave it to you. You don't have a licence.
They just want the money.
No questions asked in Bali, are there?
For the next 4 days, he walked the streets, did some shopping, sightseeing, took in the atmosphere.
Did you touch the minibar?
There was no minibar.
Oh, there wasn't. Okay, that's good. Did you do anything that you shouldn't have done, aside from the trip to Bali?
I drank a beer.
You did have a beer. Where'd you have that?
At the beach.
At the beach. Did someone in Bali actually sell you the beer?
Yeah.
They really do have different rules over there, don't they?
Yeah.
Each day he's come back to his room for a rest before hitting the beach, restaurants and, well, whatever else.
Did you then start to think, how am I going to get out of this?
Yeah, I was thinking how I was going to get home, and then I don't know how, but I sent someone my location, and then that's how Mum called the AFP.
He'd been ignoring the frantic calls and messages from home on his mobile, but perhaps when he posted a video of his antics in the pool, the tracking device gave him up.
That's when I collapsed.
The police rang Mum with the news.
The worst words of my life. They confirmed he left Australian waters 4 days previous.
The Bali boy holiday was about to come to an abrupt end, thanks to Chief Police Commissioner Wirajara.
The Australian Federal Police came to my office and mentioned about that issue, that we were together, proceed to the All Season Hotel at the time to check, and the hotel says that there is a teenager stay in the 115 room, you know.
I just went to the beach, and then by the time I got back, Consulate was there with Balinese police officer, and it was pretty big too.
We had been waiting like a couple hours in the hotel together with the IFE and also the Consulate General. Then he came back from the beach, yeah. He was in the beach when I came to the hotel, and he smiled. He is very nice, he's very cute, as usual as a kid, you know.
Cute and cunning.
So I said I was going to get my stuff from the room.
Yep.
And then I locked myself in the room.
He put a chair under the door and closed all the windows.
I was a bit scared about the police officer.
Of course, he was so big.
Yeah, and I didn't know what was going to happen.
A few minutes later, they unscrewed the window and nabbed him.
They told us, as a family, to sit tight. We'll bring him home.
I keep him in a special room, in my staff room. He is not in the jail because he is a teenager. We are not allowed to arrest, and then he not commit the crime also in Indonesia.
True. Drew had broken no Indonesian laws. No one had a right to hold him or escort him to the airport for deportation.
The AFP said we only had 24 hours, otherwise they'll let him go, because legally in Indonesian law, he has done nothing wrong.
Consular staff stayed in the police station with him overnight, fearing he could leave of his own will at any time.
We're a mess. You got a child in Indonesia by himself who's as savvy as him, riding motorbikes, organising his own little life over there.
Mum and Dad rushed to Bali. Unfortunately, all direct flights were full, and they too had to go via Perth. But once in Perth, with the clock ticking on that 24 hours, Jetstar stopped them from boarding the international flight.
What they said to us, we couldn't go get on the flight because we've got not a return ticket, we've got to purchase one now. And that's when my former partner said, well, how did my 12-year-old son get on a flight without being questioned, and you're questioning us as adults?
And we've got to do
Nan was beside herself.
And I was more distraught that things weren't moving along fast enough to get that child back.
Eventually, sanity prevailed, with the airline forcing them to sign a waiver. On the ground, they rushed to the cop shop.
What happened when Mum and Dad were coming down the corridor and you're sitting on that chair?
It was just like them walking in slow motion.
Really?
I could see him through the window, and he looked at us as we were driving in, and I think I broke. I was broken by then.
Did you get a smack on the backside first, or did you get a hug and a kiss?
I got a hug off Dad. Mum didn't do anything. She was angry.
We just wanted to know why, why did this happen? Why did you want to leave so bad to go to Indonesia when we go every year anyhow? Yeah, there was a lot of emotion there.
All three of them checked into another hotel. Well, you could imagine what she would have said to the staff at the All Seasons.
What kind of hotel allows a child to check in alone? The boy had a very convincing story.
For the next 2 days, he was never out of their sight. And unlike the 2 boarding passes in, this time they had 3 going out. They've been back a few weeks now, and it's starting to sink in.
He was never flagged. They never done their job. If they'd done their job, this wouldn't have happened.
You've got to be 18 to vote, you've got to be 18 to drink, yet you can be 12 and leave the country on your own.
Yeah, that's right. And
that's far more dangerous.
Yeah, that's right. And to another country with different laws.
So easily fooling our Australian police, our federal police, customs, everyone What about those other kids that have gone underage? What about, you know, child trafficking? I'm worried about now. It doesn't kind of relate to us. You start thinking outside the box now.
Do you know that things could have happened to you over there? Are you aware of that?
I don't think I was realising.
Yeah, because you're a smart kid. There's no doubt about it. I got a daughter who's 1 year younger than you, and she wouldn't know how to leave our suburb, let alone leave the country and go to another one. So you're very cluey, but sometimes when you're at this age, I say this to my children, you know, you just don't know. There's things in the world that happen and can happen to you.
And you would know too.
Yeah, and we see it in our jobs. You know, there's bad men out there, and they can do things to children, you know. Did these things ever conjure in your mind, and you ever think of the dangers out there?
No.
You don't, do you? Kids don't.
Well, we still are in shock. We sit here just thinking, how did this happen? Considering we screamed, we begged for help.
Tell me you'll never do this again.
I won't.
You won't? Why?
Because I know that I'll get in a lot of trouble next time.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Next time, go in a caravan with Mum and Dad down the coast.
Yep, Brady joins me now. Brad, you've got to love that kid. He is super bright, but so naughty, and he should never have made it out of the country.
No, he shouldn't have, but, you know, he's such a likeable rogue, you know. First time I met him, Tracy, he shook my hand and he looked me in the eye and he said, "Nice to meet you, Brady." And when I'd finished the day, "Thank you very much for everything." And that happened a couple of times. He was a lovely, lovely fella. He was a bit like that, another movie analogy, I'm sorry, but a bit like Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can. He was likeable, but cunningly clever.
Yeah,
you know,
really?
cunningly clever. You know, I mean, let's not forget, though, as you rightly point out, he did use the family credit cards and he did take the family passport.
Naughty.
Absolutely. And you can say it with your smiley face. See, the passport was under lock and key because he'd tried this twice before. The passport was at Nana's place, but he tricked Nana into handing over the passport, and the rest is history.
What is Jetstar doing to fix its system so this doesn't happen again?
Well, they were quite alarmed when we contacted them, and as a result of that, they've now decided to change their policy. They've put new measures in place, they say, that will ensure that this doesn't happen again. However, they're looking at several options so that it's, you know, practical for parents who do use this system for 12 to 15-year-olds.
All right, and what happened to the alert on his passport?
Good question, because you know what, Tracy? You'd think that the Australian Federal Police and Border Protection, they might have dealt with things like this in the past. They say, no, we haven't. It could never have happened. When we told them about it, they said, no, we never flagged Drew. We never put an alert on his passport, even though they were actively involved in stopping him at the airport on the 2 previous attempts. So that's rather strange. But they've now told us that they too are working to review this system so that it doesn't happen again. But gee whiz, I hope Drew's not one step ahead of them.
All right, thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Trace.
Let's move on. Mother of 2, Kay Andrews, couldn't have been prouder when she published her first children's book featuring a fairy called Zari. But she never guessed it would upset one of the world's biggest clothing brands.
This is a David and Goliath story. It's not about the money for me.
Roll up for the most absurd fight you're likely to see on TV. Zara versus Zari.
I was shocked.
A multi-million-dollar fashion giant versus one mum and her children's book.
I'm no threat to them. I'm here just to help children be happy within themselves, and they're selling clothing.
Big companies can be very pushy.
This bitter legal battle began with a praisable idea. Counsellor and mum of 2, Kay Andrews, created a self-help book for kids.
I feel like my whole life has come to this point, to be an author and be able to get the message out to children.
She called it Zari Little Wisdoms, about a fairy warrior.
She's a very important part because the children, I want them to fall in love with her and to learn to connect with her so they've got someone to rely on when they need help.
Kay went to register Zari as a trademark in 2016 to use on a range of toys, audiobooks and even a cartoon. But her dreams were crushed when a threatening legal letter came in the mail last year. Spanish fashion brand Zara was opposing her registration. After the break on A Current Affair, we reveal how Mum Kay took on the retail giant.
The 9 News app is here. When news happens near you, we'll alert you. The free 9 News app goes straight to the source you trust.
Who says we don't do serious car reviews? Watch the latest episodes of Top Gear on 9 Now.
That, my friend, is panache.
Top Gear, anytime, anywhere on 9 Now.
Budget Direct customers only pay for flood cover if they want to.
You paid extra for this.
But not everyone's a Budget Direct customer. Do you get the choice on flood cover? Get more with Budget Direct.
When did the SUV become so precious?
I've been shaking. I love it when you go crazy. You take all my inhibitions. Baby, there's nothing holding me back. You take me places that
Free your SUV.
manipulate my decisions. Baby, there's nothing holding me back.
This is not just another SUV. This is the Ford Escape.
There's nothing holding me back.
From complete classrooms, weatherlight rooms and wall cladding to lifestyle entertaining areas that will be the envy of every home, we can design, manufacture and install your custom-made home edition. Talk to our home edition specialists for a free on-site measure and quote.
Arnott's biscuits are made by Australians for Australians. But we reckon the real reason Aussies buy them is they're the tastiest chalky biscuits money can buy. Arnott's. There is no substitute.
This is our power plant. Over the last year, Uncle Toby's Oats created the same amount of energy as 7 wind turbines. That's enough power to light over 140,000 homes. And it's 100% natural. What would you do with all that energy? How far would you go? Because the fuel you put in creates the energy you put out. Uncle Toby's Oats. Quick sachets half price this week at Woolworths.
If you're an adult, don't miss the huge April sale at Bali.
And if you're a kid, don't miss our huge Kids Expo with prizes and free activity packs.
It's all on now.
The April Holiday Expo sale at Bali.
New Vicks Vapor Drops Cough.
Welcome back, no. Welcome back,
For nose, throat and now cough relief. New Vicks Vapor Drops Cough.
Mel and Pete are moving. They're deciding who gets to clear out the beehive in the shed and who gets the chore of organising their new connections and home and contents insurance. Luckily for Mel, iSelect can save her hours calling multiple providers thanks to their moving bundle service, which helps to find her great value energy, NBN and home and contents insurance for her needs. Now she's all over her move. Like bees on Pete. Finished?
A lot of bees.
Would your health fund tell you if there was a better deal out there? We would. At Compare the Market, we search through over 400 policies from a range of health funds to help you find a better deal. Wow! Oh, Sergey, you've ruined the effect.
Oh, sorry. All new Britain's Got Talent, coming soon to 9.
Welcome back. Walk into any Zara store and it's all about clothes and accessories. There's not a book in sight. So, what's their beef with this local children's author and her mythical fairy, Zari?
I felt panic and I was anxious and I guess I did cry.
Kay wouldn't back down. She went about hiring a lawyer and fighting the retail giant. That was 12 months and thousands of dollars in legal fees ago.
They're just seeing the word Zari with a Y, and there's Zara. Theirs is in capital letters, mine's in running writing. They don't even look familiar.
The big companies do have a very large budget, and part of it is all about just spending it to show everyone who they are.
It's estimated around 5% of trademarks are opposed, and anyone, anywhere in the world can do it. Kay had 3 options, according to lawyer and author of Owning It, Sharon Giavoni. The first, fight Zara tooth and nail in court, costly and risky. The second, negotiate with Zara and meet in the middle. Or lastly, to ignore the letter altogether.
To me, you don't go to a clothing store such as Zara and ask for a children's book. And it's on that basis that I just can't see how consumers would be legitimately confused. And the other thing to point out, of course, is the name isn't even Zara.
Zara demanded that Kay change the name of her book because it was too similar to theirs and could create consumer confusion.
I'm a mum with 2 kids and, you know, I feel that they're a multi-million-dollar company. They've got endless resources. They don't understand that every time I spend $1,000, that's something my children misses out on.
This isn't the first time Zara has flexed its legal muscle. They also took on Nita Luketic's kids' fashion line, Zara Bumba, named after her daughter Zara.
They told me to change my business name, my Hotmail address, my website, and anything to do with any merchandising, any advertising.
Bizarrely, Zara has trademarked everything from precious metals to bath salts, deodorants and drip mats for beer jars, and books, which means they can argue that Kay is infringing on their trademark rights.
It's very easy for large companies to threaten action, but in my experience, they don't always pull through, particularly if the case is not strong enough.
I feel that really they should be letting it go, paying for my expenses and moving forward. You know, I'd be happy for them to sell my book if they really want to be a part of it.
We contacted Zara's parent company for comment, but they didn't respond. Kay says she's in the process of coming to an agreement with the clothing retailer where she can keep the Zari name under some conditions. Up next on A Current Affair, this con man claims he's Hitler's son. Why is he taking half of his neighbours to court?
He certainly, I feel, acts like a Gestapo.
Hello, Natasha Bayersdorf with you. The Duchess of Cambridge is tonight in labour with the birth of her 3rd child expected shortly. Kensington Palace confirmed she was admitted to St Mary's Hospital in London, travelling by car with Prince William. Disgraced businessman Ron Medic is behind bars, convicted of the execution-style murder of Michael McGurk in 2008. There's been an outpouring of grief following the tragic death of an autistic boy who was struck by a train in Sydney and a spectacular sight, a tornado tearing across a harbour in Florida. More news soon.
NBN News, nightly at 6.
Dove won't let damage hold you back. I straighten it because it's my decision. I bleach and colour it because why not? Dove Intensive Repair nourishes and helps protect hair against damage before it happens. Because your hair expresses who you are. Dove Intensive Repair. We tested our new Supreme range with top hairstylists.
Head and Shoulders.
Beth? New Head and Shoulders Supreme with argan oil leaves hair luscious and flake-free.
I can't stop touching it.
New Head and Shoulders Supreme.
From 2017's best-selling 4x4 range, the Beast is back. With 18-inch alloys, exclusive FX4 styling, and embossed leather accent seats. The Ford Ranger FX4 Special Edition, now with free auto. Hunt it down while stocks last.
Michael Roberts, 49 years old, married, and I've got 4 children. And I've got COPD, or commonly known as emphysema. One of the main causes, I'm led to believe, was smoking. When we were young, we were stupid. We made wrong choices and paying for it now.
lot of good people.
Doing a lot of good things in the community.
That's why
the Newcastle Permanent Charitable Foundation was set up.
To support all this good work.
The foundation provides over $1.5 million a year
to local charities and community organisations.
And because the Newcastle Permanent
Charitable Foundation
is a permanent fund,
it'll be here supporting the community for good.
Get hot winter savings at the Reject Shop. Smith's Chips, 3 for $5. Maybelline, L'Oreal and CoverGirl Cosmetics, any 3 just $10. Spree Lemon Laundry Powder, only $3. So hurry into the Reject Shop.
Get your free consumer's guide to hearing aids, Australia's only independent guide to all the latest models. Choose the right hearing aid for your lifestyle and budget. Visit freehearingaidguide.com.au for your free copy.
Got a big day ahead? Maybe you've got a big crowd to feed. Order! Or a big case to win. Objection!
To support your mental sharpness and physical energy, start your big day with Barocca.
This year, you have the power to help. Because your purchase of Vaseline supports the Vaseline Healing Project. Join us to help millions in need restore their skin.
Well, girls and boys, it's been another very exciting day for our friend Big Dog. But now it's time for Big Dog to say good night. Good night, Big Dog. Good night, girls and boys. Sweet dreams.
It's to say nothing, but I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no. Caught up in the middle of it. No, I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no.
Tomorrow night, who needs enemies with neighbours like this?
This bloke claims he's Hitler's son.
I feel acts like a Gestapo.
Now the convicted con man is taking half of his Aussie neighbours to court for petty disputes. Plus the human heartache.
I'm left with nothing.
Behind Australia's banking shade.
Disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
Those reports tomorrow, and that's our program. Thanks for your company. Good night.
Last night, the coaches witnessed a voice first.
Yes.
One artist changed the game forever.
Is he doing that? Stop it.
Forcing coach against coach into a pitching frenzy.
You just changed the entire game with this. You have to be on my team.
You have the voice.
I think you could win this.
Don't break my heart. Now, come on!
I want to be me. I want to do me, so I'm going to go with Kelly.
Kelly was victorious, and Delta was devastated. Tonight,
I'm coming to get you. I want you as my artist.
The pitches get personal.
Go to Kelly because she's a soul goddess
and
that she
sometimes
is.
choosing a guy with a hat on is the obvious thing to do.
Hold on a second.
Okay?
I'm just a guy with a hat on.
As two superstar coaches...
I'm not a man and I'm an icon and
go to war.
Why did you push me away from you?
Can't handle you. You're just too much for me.
Tonight, our first artist is a single mum from Queensland.
Hey, Zario, come help me. Yeah, I know it is. Come on.
My name's Chrislyn Hamilton. I'm 27 and I live in Redcliffe in Queensland.
Being a single mum's pretty challenging, but, you know, when kids come into the world, they're such a life changer. Hey. No, can I have the pegs, please?
He makes me laugh like every single day.
All right, go for it. Over there, over at the swings. Go to the swings.
Before that, I barely laughed at all. I was 17 when I decided I wanted to do music. When I've put myself out there and either I've not gotten as far as I wanted to or someone said something about my weight. the way I look, and I think it got the better of me and I just kind of went into hiding. Mummy's got you. And then for a long time I felt like there was something missing, but I could never pinpoint exactly what it was. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, and my son came along and he kind of brought back this whole new outlook on life. He made me realise what my dreams were and that I should just go for them, because I want him to grow up knowing that he can do the same. And, you know, like, I want to know that I've done everything I can to make sure that he knows that no matter what his dreams are, he can just go for them. I am not who I am if I'm not singing. Coming on The Voice will give me that opportunity to be able to put myself out there and do what I love.
So make sure you know, Team Delta won last year, Joe.
That's cute.
Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama.
Go, Mama, go. Here comes Mama. Oh, she looks nervous, hey? Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired. And when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so kind, but you're the key to my peace of mind. 'Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. Thank you.
Tell me, what is your name?
My name's Chrislyn, I'm 27 and I'm from Brisbane.
So what does it mean for you to be here today?
I'm probably going to cry, but...
That's okay, we've had lots of tears on this season. A lot of crying.
Look, I mean, I've put myself out there before as an artist and, you know, it hasn't really gone to plan, but I've had a son and I've...
How old is your baby?
Where is he?
I think he's somewhere over there.
I miss my son. I'd love to see a baby right now. My son is 3. Oh my God, he's so delicious.
What's his name? Zario.
Zario.
You want to say hi?
Hello.
Hello.
Say hello.
Say, Mummy, go to Team George. Go on.
He is so. Can I try to hold him?
Of course.
I want to try. I mean, it's a lot of hair coming at him. I know the closer I get, the bigger it gets.
Do you want to say?
Would you let me hold you? Can I hold your hand? Hi.
Savage.
I got played for the microphone. Can you say, Mommy, you did it?
Say, Mommy, you did it.
Mommy, you did it.
Mommy, you did it.
Can I hold you? No, it's
Kelly,
a no.
what about Team George? Give him the mic.
Team Delta.
Team George.
Team Delta. Team Joe. Let me see if he comes. Come here, let's go down here. We're gonna sit here. Mommy's right there. How are you? I need to tell you, I was all for it. It's like each time I felt like each step up on the song, you just delivered. You were like...